What's up, guys? It's Scoopman5000 back for another action figure review. Today we're looking at the McFarlane Toys gold label, The Flash from Flashpoint, part of the Build a Cyborg wave. This is a year-long wave, so the next figure is not even revealed yet. But so far we have Aquaman, Project Superman, and now the main character, Flash Barry Allen, coming off the box office smash of the Flash movie. This figure is the talk of the town. He's going for crazy eBay prices, getting canceled orders. I mean, thank God I at least got this one in. A lot of fun stuff happening with McFarlane recently. Exclusives are a mess right now. But let's try to avoid all that. Let's get Barry out of the package.
It was me, Barry.
And here is the Flash out of the packaging. Of course, with every figure, we're going to get the trading card and the DC Multiverse stand. Love that we're back to artwork. And then Barry's only accessory are the heads. So in the box, you're getting the cowl down with the separate neck cowl, which is a really cool touch. Something we usually get in a separate gold label release. And then, of course, the classic Flash cowl up. And then you can remove that neck piece, remove the head, put the cowl over the face. And you got your classic look for Barry Allen right here. He also includes the legs for Cyborg. And I was going to put together Cyborg. It's at this point I realized I never even opened Project Superman. So I did that real quick. We'll see him in comparisons. And then we put together Cyborg. Now Cyborg's shaping up to be one hell of a Build-A-Figure. It's definitely Flashpoint Cyborg. He's way too big to be like a main universe version. As you could see, looking tall as hell next to Barry Allen. But excited to see how the face turns out. And the fourth figure, that's probably going to be Wonder Woman. But here we go. The Barry Allen from Flashpoint. Now, I look at this, honestly, and I guess I gotta go back to Flashpoint, but this just looks so classic to me. It's mainly to do with the body proportions, I think, and even the face, the cowl shape of it. This looks like straight out of the 70s or something. But I guess his suit really didn't change for a long time. You know, I was using Reverse Flash and regular Flash from Rebirth, kind of in place of Flashpoint. This, I think, would belong more on like a Justice League shelf with your Booster Gold, your Blue Beetle, Martian Manhunter Classic, Jay Garrick, those characters. And speaking of that, this is a reuse of those Blue Beetle and Booster Gold bodies. I think there's other figures that have been using this body, and I have seen some complaints, but honestly don't get it, because McFarlane, up until this point, you know, the reuse has been more in the form of recolors and repaint different heads. However, when it comes to a basic body like this, and one that's got pretty good proportions, reuse it. And you could put the logo, you could put any logo on it. And even still, he does have unique pieces, like the crotch piece right here with the belt, and then the boots are unmistakably classic Flash. So again, like, I can barely even tell that this is reused. Could also be I'm not as used to, like, a Blue Beetle body versus a Bucky Cat body in Marvel Legends. You know, maybe if we're still getting this body 5 or 10 years from now, I'll start complaining. But otherwise, yeah, for a basic costume like this, I'd say keep it coming. You'll notice no peg holes all over this figure. Obviously, you get pin joints, but the other Flashes have those peg holes for the lightning effects. No lightning effects, no alternate hands with this version of Barry. I don't personally mind that. I feel like the lightning effects are pretty difficult to use, or at least the ones that you got to wrap around. I guess you still could use those with this guy. So overall, I mean, I could see why this figure is causing a stir, because, you know, McFarlane, we always get the unique stuff, the Rebirth and the metal versions, all the modern comics. But this is straight up, you know, they say it's Flashpoint. This is classic Barry Allen Flash. You could stick him pretty much in any era of the last 40 years, other than when he was dead, I guess. So with that, we'll go into Articulation. Now, this is the Blue Beetle body, so if you're familiar with that figure, I guess you're used to this. But honestly, I haven't played around with them too much. I have them, but they're just in a bin. I have so many fucking figures. I really gotta put some proper shelves up. But here you can see the range of movement. It's pretty good, and you'd want that for a speedster for Barry Allen. And we'll try to do some running poses once we get to figure photography. As you can tell, I'm not actually naming off the joints here. I'm just kind of moving them around. I think that's what I'm going to do going forward. Just don't want to bore you guys just by naming joints. So, see, does not kick all the way back, but I guess that's still pretty good. You could definitely still get some running poses out of that. And a very snappy ankle to finish off Articulation. Can't forget the toe hinge. So now for comparison, no better way to start than with the Rebirth Flash, which is also an expensive figure. It'd be interesting to see how the price changes on this guy. Now, this is undeniably classic. This is undeniably modern if you put them both together. But I still think I'm leaning towards the Rebirth Flash. I mean, even something like this open hand, I think, makes a big difference. I love the more exaggerated lightning bolts and the kind of ribbed texture all over the suit here. And I think when it comes down to it also, this Flash figure has something that a lot of figures don't have, and that's a V shape. Wide shoulders, narrow waist, and especially in a character like the Flash, a running pose character. I think he's just a bit more dynamic, a bit cooler. But at the same time, I'm looking at this guy, and he's an essential pickup too. So, I mean, I'm glad to have both. I love me some Barry Allen. I could definitely see them getting a Wally out of this one. Just get some white on the eyes there. And maybe if we want to go the alternate head route, let's get a ginger Wally head. But yeah, I guess I'm a little bit torn. I'm still leaning towards the Rebirth design, though. And part of that is also because we got a perfect reverse Flash to match up with that Rebirth version. See, I actually do have some effects on this guy, but I think they work well. Now, I feel like if we don't get a Flashpoint version on this body of reverse Flash, then what are we doing? It would be kind of cool to get that, and then this could be Hunter Zolomon if you want to headcanon that. I think the eyes are kind of like that with the black. That's kind of how Hunter Zolomon be. But overall, like, I love this reverse Flash so much, and then you put these two together. So it's going to be tough to beat, but we're going to have to see a reverse Flash first out of this body to even consider that. And here's our first of the Flashpoint wave, which was Aquaman with his big scary guts face. He's kind of leaning over. I can't really get him to stand well. Let's say about there is the height. So they're playing pretty nice together, and they both have pretty beefy proportions than what we're used to with McFarlane, which works for the Flashpoint story. Definitely reminds me of the animated movie, although their heads aren't as tiny and weird. But yeah, I'm probably going to end up sticking a Flash Gordon head on this guy when it's all said and done. Oh, but then I do lose the hairstyle. I got to figure out something, though, because that's pretty ugly. And here we go with Project Superman, who I just took out of the packaging. And honestly, I don't really like him. I mean, even look at the trading card right here. Got big, gross hands and a long head. And he's just, like, rail thin. I feel like this figure's too normal. I don't know if this is, like, Impulse's body or something like that. And then if they want to get reuse out of this body, you guys can let me know if this is reuse, but I don't think it matches the Flashpoint Superman. He's not lanky and gross enough. But either way, I guess that's where he's going to end up on the shelf, so here you go. And we can only speculate what the fourth figure will be. I'm thinking it's a Wonder Woman. Here he is with the movie Flash, and he looked a lot taller to me, but I guess he's just got such long legs. But this one's much more proportional, which is funny because this is supposed to be more realistic. But yeah, I guess if you're doing a Flash multiverse kind of deal, here you go. And here he is with Thomas Wayne, Flashpoint Batman. This is like a year one McFarlane, probably still one of the best. I mean, just, that's tough right there. That's badass. You can't really complain. And this is also back in the days where we could have guns with our figures. Give you a little sneak preview, because I love how these look. Here's the brand new Nightfall Batman. And again, like, Nightfall is 1990s, Flashpoint is like 2010. But these are both basically like 70s costumes, if you really look at them. So if you're building that classic league, I mean, here you go. Not a better time to be collecting. Then here you go with 3 Jokers Batman. And with Rebirth, Superman. That's going to do it for a Flashpoint Barry Allen. And again, it's just a very classic costume. I'm not even really associating this with Flashpoint, although it is going to be a nice display when it's all said and done. Like I said, though, I think this really hinges on if we get a reverse Flash Eobard Thawne to go with this guy. Otherwise, what are we doing? But this is McFarlane. They love using their repaints and retooling, so I'm sure it'll happen. This is about what I could do for a running pose really quick. I'll try to do better in the figure photography. I'll leave that at the end of this video, and you can see my whole library on Instagram, scoopman_5000. You could also check out my second channel. We did just review the Flash movie. And I'll see you guys in the next action figure review.